Hi everyone, hope I'm audible and I'm live and hopefully hope you're able to hear my voice better. So let's get into it. So today it's day 35 and we're going to talk about iterative development. Hi, this is Karunanidhi and today we'll be talking more on iterative development and what is that iterative development, how it is applied in product management, and why do we need that iterative development, and how does different from waterfall model, and how often the iterations are applied in project. What is the duration of the iterations in the project, and what if the iteration doesn't go as planned? So we'll be answering all these questions now. So first, let's talk about what is iterative development. Here, the development of the product or the project, the development phase in the project will go in iterations, multiple iterations, or the repeated cycles. It's again a step-by-step process, but you repeat the cycle next one after the other until you get a final shippable product, which is the best one. You'll be able to launch it into the market. So that is for iterative development. So with this, so this is again similar to almost in waterfall model we have the sequence of steps: planning, designing, development, testing, and things. So but there will not be any overlapping or no iterations. So only after the final launch or release you will go again with the planning of the next one. So but here it's a repeated cycles. It will go after like uh, planning, designing, development, testing, and then if there's a user feedback will be there, and then if they're satisfied they will go for launch. Otherwise again go repeat the cycle. So that is how it is. So that is why I did development. So this one here, when we come so when we take up iterative development, so here we'll be able to adapt to any changes or any feedbacks. So whatever the user the feedbacks we receive from the end users or the quality team or the stakeholders, any feedbacks will be able to incorporate into the development phase during in case of iterative development, which is not possible in the other way around, the waterfall model. So how is this different from waterfall model? As I mentioned, so here we have the flexibility of adapting to any changes that is coming inside based on the feedback that we receive from the users. But in case of waterfall model, that will not happen. The feedback will be able to get feedback only of the final stage of the final release of the product. So once after all the release, all the development phase and testing is all done, then we see that when the user sees the product and they feel that okay, this is not the product I wanted, so I want a different one. So then again, the iteration will happen after the final work is done. So which is going to be costly and impacting on the project project cost mostly. So in case of so that is how it's in waterfall model. That is totally rigid, and in case of iterative development, the agile is more. It's always flexible. Next, any feedback integration. The feedback itself will, as I mentioned, will be got only at the end of the development, end of the release, in our project phase. But in case of iterative development, we will get the feedback every now and then, so that we can incorporate all those feedbacks into the development of the product or the project. And risk mitigation. So when there is in case of iterative model, so we'll be able to identify any risk in the early phase itself, because we do have the repeated cycles and the iterations and the feedbacks got from every iteration we'll be able to identify any risk that is there in the development phase. So it can be identified early in the project phase, and then it can be mitigated and can resolve any issue that's coming up in case of iterative model. But in waterfall model, that's not the case. It has to go through the entire sequence, and only then you'll be able to identify, okay, this has gone wrong, or this is something risk factor is there. We need to address this. So again, you have to go ahead from the scratch and come back from the top. So it's going to be a costly fix, obviously. So that is why. So these are the difference between the waterfall and agile model. So when it comes to this, I just wanted to share you one quick flow diagram of how does it look like. So give me a second. I'm just sharing my screen. So this will be a sequence of steps. It's just a flowchart diagram of waterfall versus iterative development. Okay. Yeah. So hope you're able to see my screen. Right. So this is what we talked about. So this is the waterfall model where they recommends design and development and testing, and then this deploy and then maintenance. So here the final release after the maintenance, then again if we get any feedbacks during the deployment or during the maintenance phase, then again we'll go back to the top. But in case of iterative in case of agile, we have the recommend, design, development, testing, the deploy, review again. If that is satisfied, then go for the launch here, or else it will again go back to recommend, gather, release, design, development, testing, this deploy, review, and then launch. So it goes in cycles. So this is what for agile and or agile and this is what the difference between agile and waterfall. So quick run through of the work now. So next we need to talk about is why do we need this iterative development? So as we talked before, this iterative development is going to help us in continuously improving the product development and the project development phase, and also the product. So we can improvise every step in every iteration. So if you are having some feedbacks in the end of first iteration, yes, we can give the feedback and then get the changes incorporated in the second iteration itself, but not in the case of the waterfall. So that is how it is. So we are flexible in case of iterative model. This is flexible, very much flexible compared to the other things. So we are able to adapt any new user requirements or any changes that is there in the existing requirements development phase. That's why it is flexible. And as we talked about, is the risk reduction. So risk will be identified early in the development stage itself, and then we can mitigate the risk during the development phase, so that we can plan our resources and the model which we want to follow. Everything can be planned well in advance in case of iterative model. So that is the risk reduction. Risk is reduced by using the iterative development and user feedback. So every now and then, for every iteration, we get the user feedbacks, be it a stakeholder, be it end users, anybody. So you get the feedback and then you incorporate in the development phase. So that is why these are the 4 reasons why we need this. Why we need this iterative development process. So one is continuous improvement, next is flexibility, third is risk reduction, and fourth is user feedback. So next, how often do we typically iterate on a project? So when it comes to the duration, it's mostly depending on the complexity of the project and the resources who's working on, and the size, the project size. So what is the project size and the complexity involved in developing the project, and the methodology which is used, and the resources that is there, who is going to work on the project. So generally the sprint duration. So when it comes to sprint agile, we talk about sprint. So sprint development duration mostly will be between 1 week to 4 weeks, but most commonly used is 2 weeks and 4 weeks, but it can vary from 1 week, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So anything as based on the company needs and the requirements which we are going to handle. So this is the duration which we talked about, and the project needs, as we talked about. So based on the feedback that we receive, so the needs might vary. So accordingly, we can change the duration as well as needed. So again, the team dynamics comes into picture, where in the capacity of the team, we talked about the velocity, the performance, how good is the team is. So those things will be calculated, and accordingly also the project duration can be varied. Okay. So this is about the duration of the sprint, duration of the each iteration. And next is about what if the iteration doesn't go as planned. So of course, whatever we plan, it never happens as expected. So yeah, there will be something or the other that is coming in place to give some trouble for the development. Even in real life, even in our day-to-day life, whatever we plan, it's not going to happen. There will be something or the other which crops up all of a sudden. So similarly, when a project development is happening, it is not going to go smoothly in most of the cases, at least. So there will be, obviously, if there is it's very well planned the project, and there is no hindrances, no bottlenecks coming up during the development phase, that the project is complexity is also simple, then that goes smoother. But if the project is huge complex, then there will be one problem or that always coming up. So what happens? So why do we go for this? So as we talked about, when the iteration is not, the project is not going as planned. So what if the iteration is not going as planned? So after each iteration, after each sprint which we talked about, 2 week sprint or 4 week sprint or 1 week or 3 week, whatever it be. So we have something called sprint retrospective. So in the sprint retrospective, the teams who were involved in the project development phase will sit in together and discuss what went wrong, why did it go wrong, and what could we have done better, and what all went well. So we discuss that, and we note down the points which is based on the feedback, based on the interaction which we have with the team, and we whatever has gone good, yes, we'll appreciate that, and we try to keep that in the next citation as well. Whatever didn't go well, we take that inputs, identify what is supposed to be done to resolve that issue, and stakeholders also can be involved in that case. So any information that we need, we can also share with the team and get input from others if possible, and get the issue resolved, and then add that solution also in the next iteration. So you have the review done and you have the retrospective done from based for your team. So based on that input which you receive, you find the solution for that any issues that's there, and incorporate that in the next iteration. So you have the review and retrospective done first, and you can adjust and adapt. So based on the inputs you receive, and based on the user feedback also, for the iteration, for the first iteration, you can incorporate any changes that is to be done. And so what are the lessons learned in the, so what we talked about, like what didn't go well, how is supposed to be how we are supposed to do it better, so all those things. So those are the lessons learned from the previous iteration, which we identified during the introspection. So I get those and also incorporate that, so adapt that into the next iteration. And any changes, any feedback that's supposed to be added up in the development phase, yes, add that. And if you need to do any recommend reprioritizations, feature changes, and any methodology change that you need to do, all those things can be incorporated in the next citation. So that is for review. After the review and retrospection, you get to adjust and adapt to the next citation based on the feedback you receive. Next is about stakeholder communication. As we talked about, what happens in each development phase, keep communicating it to the stakeholders every now and then, so that they are aware of what is happening in the project, and they can also give in their inputs if at all they have any valuable inputs, and we can incorporate that if possible. And so this keeping them informed, make sure that they are aligned with the aligned with the project, and also we have their trust. So that is what we need to maintain first of all. So next is about iterative refinement. So for every iterations, we always have the refinement of any features that is there, or any changes that we need to do. Yes, all those things can be incorporated. So you do the refinement of each refinement in iterations based on the feedback you receive. So here on this front, I wanted to show you few images. So we have this image of Mona Lisa picture where you have this incremental and iterative development. So here you start developing it in chunks. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, anything missing, you add it up here. But in case of iterative development, you have one wholesome rough image, next a better than that, next better. So here you have some changes to be done. Okay, you did the changes here in the next iteration. So next iteration is a better version, and final the version will be the final output version will be the one which can be launched. So that is how it is. So this is for iterative development and incremental development. And this is yet another one. So you ask for a car, and in case of incremental, you first do 1 wheels, 2 wheels, and then one part of the car. So where the users will never be able to understand, or will never be able to use it. And finally, you get the output. In case of iterative, so you have a skating board, next a push scooter, then a cycle, then a motorcycle, and then a car. So you for each and every phase, at least the users will have will see what is that they are going to see in the future, and how at least they can even use the product in every level, each and every levels here. So that is how this going to be hit. That's how it is for iterative development. So this is what the variations and pictures we can, variation between the iterative and incremental developments. Right. So hope you found this information helpful, and whatever notes you have taken, give your inputs and suggestions and feedback in the comment section below. And as usual, the links for the VIP Facebook group to get more updates on product management topics is available in the comment section, and a calendar link is also available in the comment section. So use that and schedule an appointment with me for any product management career consultations. The link for that is also there in the comment section, and the link to download the free ebook on 6 ways to start your product management career is also available in the comment section. Use the link and download the ebook for free. So any comments, any feedbacks, as I mentioned, please do add your valuable inputs in the comment section below, and see you again in the next video. Until then, this is Bharat Kumar signing off. Have a nice day. Take care. 1 minute, let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah. So see you again in the next session. Until then, this is Bharat Kumar signing off. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night. Just going to end stream.